Whatever, I don't care. Just try and move our nail appointments for us to tonight, okay? Ugh, my mom is here. I'll call you later.
What do you want, Mom? You ready to throw in the towel and give me Dad's money yet, or what?
Veronica, why are you doing this? You know I love you and I want to support you any way I can, but we just need this money to survive now.
I am doing this because I deserve it, okay? Dad would have wanted me to be happy, and I thought you did too up until you went all crazy.
I do. I think it's wonderful that you have this passion for fashion and design, but I can't provide for that right now. I mean, we're barely making ends meet. I mean, I do think it's really important that you start forming your own life and career, because I'm not going to be around forever, you know.
Oh, trust me, I know. And I cannot wait for the day when you finally disappear for forever.
Court is in order. All right, we have today a Ms. Lars, the plaintiff, who is bringing a suit against the defendant, Mrs. Lars. Right. Let's begin with the opening statements. Plaintiff, you may proceed.
Okay. Your Honor, we're here today to address a violation so cruel it can only be deemed a crime. An act so unforgivable it constitutes a breach of basic human rights. A mother intentionally and maliciously abandoning her own daughter. Look, I don't know what I did in a past life to deserve being born to such a cruel and hateful woman, but I am here today to fight for proper treatment and for the care that I deserve.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mrs. Lars, you may proceed with your opening statement.
Your Honor, I'm not really sure what to say. I love my daughter more than anything in this whole world, and I understand why she's upset. Since her father's passing, I've tried to provide for both of us as best as I can, and things have been going okay until I was recently laid off from my job. Well, when things start getting a little tight, I asked Veronica to cut back on her spending so we could pay the rent. And also, at 27, I suggested it's time for her to get a job. I think she interpreted that as I was cutting her out and kicking her out.
Okay, so we can just wrap it up, right? And order her to give me my dad's savings, right? I told my friends that we could get our nails done by 2.
Ms. Lars, just for clarification, you're suing your mother for the savings and life insurance policy and inheritance from your deceased father because your mother asked you to get a job and help pay your share of the rent?
Well, no, I mean, that's just the way she's making it sound. Listen, she's kicking me out and forcing me to get a job. She's like leaving me out in the cold with no money and no way to provide for myself.
I see. And how would you use this inheritance?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, so I run a fashion TikTok channel, and, you know, like, in order to get a channel started, you need a couple designer looks, and that starts bringing in revenue, you know, just like the regular old thing. And so really, it's simple. I just need this money to get me started off with those first 1 or 2 designer looks, and then I'll be successful.
I see. And Mrs. Lars, how would you use the inheritance?
Well, previously, I'd hoped to save for deposits for a small apartment for Veronica and I, but since being laid off, I had to use the funds for rent and groceries.
And that's more than enough, Your Honor, for 2 Hermes bags. That would be plenty.
Right. Okay, let's take a brief recess as I look over the documents from the life insurance and the husband's will. Let's meet back in 10 minutes. All right, we're back from recess, back in order. I'm going to allow one more statement from each before I deliver my final decision. Ms. Lars, you may go first.
I think I said everything I need to say. My father, God rest his soul in heaven, unlike my mother here, would have wanted me to be happy and to pursue my dreams of changing the world for the better. His money deserves to be with someone who's going to put it to good use and compound it. See, I'm building my social media influencer empire, and my father, God rest his soul, deserves to be a part of that legacy.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Lars, you may make your final statement.
Your Honor, I first came here today in the hopes of reconciling with my daughter and to continue to provide for her the best way I could. However, I now know the best thing I could do for her is stop feeding her lavish lifestyle and let her learn from life what it means to be a member of society. I mean, I love her, I really do, but I want her to grow, and she can't continue to do so under my wing. So therefore, Your Honor, I'd like to request two things of the court. One is I would like full acceptance of my husband's savings, and also another court order to be filed that Veronica Lars be ordered to find her own place of residence.
What? Oh my God. Mom, Mother, are you serious? You can't.
Order. I've heard enough. After careful consideration of the deceased father and the deceased husband's life savings, his insurance, and policies that came with it, and also after listening to the testimony that I've heard today, after careful consideration, I've decided to award the entire estate to Mrs. Lars. Furthermore, I will honor the request brought forth by the defendant against Veronica Lars that you move out, find your own lodging, and you have 1 week.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I have rights.
You have the right to stop talking. Your view of reality is extremely distorted, and your plan to spend your inheritance irresponsibly can only be addressed by a strong dose of reality.
Whatever. This is so stupid. Oh my God.
You've made a brave decision, Mrs. Lars.
Thank you, Judge. I know in the long run, this will be the best thing for both of us.
I agree. And this court is adjourned.